back to Richard's tutorial room once again. Won't hide behind the box this time, since you already know what it is. If you watched the reveal video when I took this out of the shipping container, you knew I was going to make this other video for it. So I guess we start with the box. To save time, I did already empty the contents out of it, since everything was all wrapped and there was, oh god, there was even more packing peanuts inside this. The guy did an amazing job packing this. I'm really thankful for that. I mean, it was box inside a bag inside a box. Anyway, that box you saw from the other video was filled this high with packing peanuts after I emptied them all out. So if that gives you an idea of how much free space there was in all this. So anyway, let's start with the box itself. So you can see here is the finished, whatever you want to call it, completed, assembled tower, and with some figures not included, obviously, things. Here's this side of the box. And this side of the box. And then on the back here, you can see a selection of different items that Kenner had for the Steve Scout and Bob Scout and whatever other scouts they had figures. You could get, I think there was actually more stuff than the show in the back here, but don't quote me, I'm not a Steve Scout expert. But there's an awful lot of stuff back there as it is. And this is a pretty cool set. I mean, this thing is, does it say on here how high it is? "30 inches tall. Not sure where they take the measurement from, if it's just the top of the tower itself or if it's up to the top of the flagpole. But it's a nice big set. I think the only thing that is on comparison with it is the G.I. Joe training tower, which is another impressive set. So let's just get this box out of the way. I'll just stick it over here in the corner. You can kind of see it while we pull all the stuff out. So I'll just pull everything out first. You get a searchlight, which works. It takes a D battery, which I already put in it. It works. Here is the top of the tower here. Here's 4 posts that go on the top of the tower. And we're going to build this too. We're going to put it all together because I'm going to have it on display eventually. Well, once it's put together, it has to go on display. It's just I really don't have anywhere to put it, but I don't want to put it back in the box. You get a flagpole with a paper flag. It would have been nice if they made this out of plastic, because it is already torn on one of the holes and it's bent here, and it's kind of like some color missing on the other side. If I get ambitious, I might scan this and make a replacement for it. You get 4 railings for the tower top. You get 3 of these logs, I guess you'd call them. They're just dowel cut up into sections. So if you were missing this, this would be something very easy to replace with just a piece of dowel. Go to Home Depot and cut it and sand it. You're all set. You get a couple pieces of a telescope. You get a winch kind of thing here. It doesn't really have any moving parts on it, but it does work. And then you get 5 pieces here. It's supposed to be all complete, so I'm assuming this is everything. You get 5 pieces of a tent. You get a couple of instruction things. This tells you how to change the bulb in the searchlight. And it also comes with a little piece of plastic, which is actually still taped up inside of the searchlight. Amazingly, that's still there. You get just a little note that tells you what you can redeem, like stars, which I don't know if you noticed, but on the back of the package here, there's these little stars. You could cut out and save them and get free stuff on different Steve Scout merchandise. I'm sure the more the item costs, the more stars you get. And I mean, this one gives you 3, 6, 9, 11 of them, so this was probably pretty expensive at the time. You get a instruction sheet on how to do the rope netting, whatever you call it, that goes all the way around the tower, which we'll get into when we put it together. The instructions are also in this little comic book that you get on the first couple pages here. It tells you how to assemble some of the stuff. I'll show you that close up. And also, I decided what I'm going to do. I was just feeling nostalgic, or whatever the word might be. If you remember the old book and records from the 70s, there was some G.I. Joe ones, and there was like Rescue from Adventure Team Headquarters and stuff like that. And they had like little comics like this, and they set them to narration and sound effects and stuff. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make another video of this comic book, and I'm going to do something like that with it, and see what I can do. Be a little creative. You get all that rope that I was telling you about to go up on all this stuff, and it also works as part of the system here on the winch to pull up the logs. You get the fabric tent. Actually, fairly big size thing here. We'll put that together too. And last but not least, the most important part, I guess, the tower itself. This here is basically a big blow molded piece of plastic. It's all one piece. And it's not cracked or broken or melted or damaged or anything. Everything in this set looks brand new. It was assembled in the pictures on eBay where I bought it. So I don't know if that was the first time it was assembled, but I would say this was probably only put together a couple of times in its life, because either that or it was very well taken care of. So let's kind of get this kind of situated here. I'll move the box, and we will start putting this stuff together. Let's start with the tent and get that out of the way. So according to the directions here, it just shows you what the tent looks like and gives kind of dotted lines showing where the poles go. So seems pretty simple. Let's try to figure it out here. So looks like you got, oh, didn't even realize that these things were already in there. I guess they were separate pieces, but somebody had already put them in. I think I might turn them around a little bit because they've got kind of a little curve to them. So let's see, it looks like, actually, if I'm looking at this right, one of these should go on each end. And then 4 poles. Pretty simple, actually. If we do it like that, yeah, I better turn it around this way. So then you got they're all the same size, right? Yeah. They don't fit very tight. Some of them do and some of them don't. Try the other side maybe. That's a little better. Kind of a loose one there. Alright, so it's supposed to do something like that, and then this goes in here. Watch, I bet you I should have had to do this inside, right? Probably won't slide in. Well, it seems to be going. Okay, it's not very cooperative. Get in there. A little wonky looking here. Let's see. Oh wait, there we go. A little better. A little better. These poles are kind of bent. I'm thinking it's because it's so tight in here. They probably were bent from the pressure. That's about as good as it's going to get. It's not too bad. This is awful big. I'm not sure. We'll probably have to put this on display separate from the tower, because this tower is not going to fit on my top of my cases. There's not enough room because it's kind of a lower ceiling in here. So I'll probably have to display it down lower on something, on a table or something. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some of the Scout accessories on a shelf in the glass cabinets, and I'll probably put this in there. Alright, so that's done. Here's the signal light, which is obviously nothing, there's nothing to put together. Little button on the back, you just push it for. You could probably use a cleaning of the switch inside, but I don't feel like taking it apart because it works. It's just sometimes it's a little dim depending on where that switch makes contact, but it does its job. So you take the base, this is where the ladder goes, so this is the front. Let's see. So then you got to put these things in. They appear to be all identical, so it probably doesn't matter where they go. One goes in each corner. Alright. Seems like they're in there, as I can tell. I don't think to go any farther down. Alright. And then these got to go in. And let's see. Okay, so the way these are designed, when they meet on a corner, these two ends here, where my fingers are, they form a peg. And they're serrated, so they kind of go together to keep it from pulling out once you put that together. See how it makes a peg? And then that goes in these holes here. So I'll put, these have little rings on them, so they're going to snap in pretty tight. And again, they're all identical, so it doesn't matter where they go. So what we'll do is we'll put all 4 of these in first. Obviously make sure you put them in the right direction so that the corner pegs line up right. This will probably straighten them out a little bit too. Make it a little more square. This out of my way for a second. Now, let's see. So we grab a couple of these, make a peg. In. Fiddly. I'm trying to hold these. Okay, I think they're all in. Okay, so there we go. We've got top of the base, and the rails and everything all in and connected and snapped into place. Now we need to do the rope. This ought to be fun. Let's see. It's very specific how they want you to run this. So tie a knot in the end of the rope, follow the arrows exactly, snap the rope into the hooks, keep the rope pulled tight. And I want you to go around a second time, making X's in between all of these. And when you get around to this one for the second time, it has you run it up and around to the hoist. Okay, so let's start with that. Let's see if we can find the ends of this. Okay, it looks like somebody already started a knot in this from the last time. So there's already a knot, so we'll use that to start. So let's get this all unrolled here. Make sure it's not in any knots. And we're good. Okay, so let's see. Let me move this out of the way. So they want you to start right here. So the knot here goes on this side and pulls like that. Alright, so then let's see. Follow this around. I want you to go this way. So we go up here. Through there. Like that, see? And then on the other side of this post again, keeping it tight. So there's the first loop like that. Now we got to do that all the way around. So I'm not going to keep turning the camera because that's too, or turning it to the camera because that's too hard. So I'm just going to follow the directions here, and then I'll show it to you when I get back to the starting point. But you'll see it as I'm turning it. Okay, down here. here. This side. Okay. Down. Like so. Another one. Okay. And up here. You see, we're right back where we started from at the beginning here, up here. Now we have to go around again, but we're going to cross them this time, so that we're going to end up with X's. Now we just basically do the same thing, but we're doing the opposite ends of everything. So we go here, here. But the only difference is around this opening here in the front, we don't X this. We go up around it so they can crawl up through here with the ladder. That's the only place where you don't crisscross it. Okay, so now we're all the way back to the beginning. We got this all strung. Now there's a tab down here. We have to run the rope around this. Something like that. Then we need this, which is the hoist. This pulley does not move at all. It just goes on here. Okay. It just simply goes up. Oops, I have it upside down. Goes this way. That makes more sense because it's sturdy on there now. Just goes through here and up, over and down through here. And it hangs down the bottom. Now, as far as how it works, I don't have a clue. I mean, you'd have to pull it like this for it to do anything. So I guess you'd have to have part of this rope hanging down. Hopefully there's enough of it here. It doesn't seem like it's very long, but I guess we'll find out. Then you're supposed to take it and tie these 3 logs on the bottom of it here. And there's supposed to be enough to do that. So let's see if we can do that at least. Alright. So we got the 3 logs tied. Overly super tight, but it should be enough for it to work. Okay, so we're done with these directions. Now, I'll have to readjust the camera, and we'll put this on the top of this. And I think it's rounded, it's square and rounded across from each other, so it probably only goes on 2 ways. But I don't think it matters which side is the front here, because it doesn't look to me like any of that should matter. So let me readjust the camera and we'll finish putting this together. Alright, so we have this, which is going to go up here. Let's see, there is, actually it doesn't matter, all sides on this are exactly the same, so it shouldn't matter where it goes, theoretically. And it does not snap in, it just sits on there. So there's nothing that really locks it in. So it just stays in place on there the way it is. Now, as far as this goes, yeah, there's no way there's no way a scout from the ground is going to be able to pull this up like this. So I'm not sure. I know we didn't use too much string. I mean, maybe this isn't the original string and it's not long enough. That's possible. It's not a big deal, but that's basically what it's supposed to do. Now I guess a scout could pull up from up here, but either way, let's finish putting this together. So we got the ladder. It's It's already been put together since it's obviously was used once. This is, I've seen these broken, so I'm assuming this is a little bit fragile. So we'll try to be careful putting this on. One side. There's the ladder. Telescope is just two pieces. There's not much to it. It just snaps in there. You can put it on any of these top parts up here. We'll just put it here. And then the flag can go on top of the crane. And I realize that you can't see the whole thing here, so I have to back the camera up even more. This can go anywhere up here. So let me back the camera up just a little more. Okay, now you can see the whole thing. So let me grab a Steve Scout. I don't have them out of, they're still in the storage box. So let me grab a Steve Scout and so you can see what it looks like with an actual figure for scale. Okay, I apologize. I looked and looked and looked. Could not find any Steve Scouts. I still got tons of stuff that's in totes and boxes, and I couldn't see him in anything that was accessible. So the only thing I had that was close was Vinnie Barbarino from Welcome Back, Kotter. He's the same size. They're 9-inch figures, so you can kind of get the idea of how big the set is for an actual figure. Like here's what he would be down there on the bottom. And then climbing up to the top, he's looking through the telescope and, you know, running the... Okay, surprise. So what happened was, after I had shot the video with the Vinnie Barbarino doll, I had also, around the same time, purchased a lot with a bunch of Steve Scout stuff, but I hadn't received it yet. The day after I shot the previous video, the box came and these two figures were in there. The Steve Scout on the right was actually broken and I had to glue his head and one of his hands back on. But he's good for display. I mean, you couldn't tell unless you looked real close that I had to glue those parts back on. I didn't have a rubber band for his neckerchief there, so it's kind of sticking up funny. But anyway, so now you get to see what they actually look like in the playset. I just wanted to let you actually see the real figures because I can't find the other ones at the moment, like I mentioned earlier. I do not have either of the black Scouts yet. There's a Cub Scout and a regular Scout, two black characters, and I'm after them. I just haven't found them yet for a decent price. And I'm also missing the belt for the Cub Scout. I'm assuming they came with a belt. Otherwise, he's complete and in pretty decent shape. So anyway, there you go. You got to view it with the actual figures from the line. Once again, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that, and we'll see you again soon.